Hello, buddies. So, welcome to yet another beautiful episode of Atomic Literature. So, today's session we are going to discuss a comic novel written by Muhammad Hanif, A Case of Exploding Mangoes. So, before moving on to the novel, we will have a quick insight of the author Muhammad Hanif. Muhammad Hanif, who was born on November 1964, is a British Pakistani writer and a journalist who writes a monthly opinion piece in the New York Times. Hanif is the author of the critically acclaimed book, A Case of Exploding Mangoes, which was long-listed for the Man Booker Prize and shortlisted for the Guardian First Booker Award and won the Commonwealth Prize for Best Book. His second book, Our Lady of Alisabethy, won the Wellcome Book Prize. He also worked as a correspondent for the BBC News based in Karachi and was the writer of the acclaimed feature film about the city, The Long Night, and his play, The Dictator's Wife, has been staged at the Hampstead Theatre. So now we will move to the summary of this novel. The comic novel A Case of Exploding Mangoes was published in the year 2008 and is based on the genuine occasion of the 1988 plane crash that murdered the former leader of Pakistan, General Muhammad Zia-ul Haq, and the story takes place in the months prior to the plane crash, bouncing back and forward between Ali's reprisal plans and his third individualized observations of General Zia's life. The story is narrated by the lazy and disrespectful Ali Shigri. So the story takes after Ali Shigri, who is the junior officer in the Pakistani Air Force, who attends the Pakistani Air Force Academy with his kind red cadets and their teachers, who is a cast of brilliant characters that are likely insane. The Bo teacher, the hash-smoking American Lieutenant Bano, referred to the everybody as lewd, wears excessively Old Spice color. Uncle Starchy, the squad's laundryman, utilizes the venom from live snakes to self-medicate. So there is also Baby D, who is Ali's closest companion, roommate and sweetheart, who appreciates imaging himself to be Jonathan Livingston Seagull, who is the little character of Richard Bach novel. Meanwhile, General Zia's daily life plays out. As a dedicated Muslim, he attends the daily prayers where he prays, and in one subplot, General Zia sentences Zainab, a visually impaired woman, to death by stoning for being the casualty of a gang rape. According to Zia's Sharia account, she has submitted adultery. For censuring her, Zainab calls down curse upon General Zia. The curse is grabbed by a sugar fixated crow, and Ali's father, Colonel Kuli Shigri, has been killed in what was called a suicide. In the meanwhile, Ali finds that his father was executed by a maverick ISI officer, Major Kiani, under General Zia's request. So we can see that after getting the information, Ali plots to avenge his father. Ali's initial requital plot comprises of stabbing General Zia in the eye with his under-officer's sword, a move he practices in mystery. Baby O comes up with another plot to murder the general by crashing a plane, Camille's style down over him, and he ever goes so far as to steal a plane for the activity. Yet in doing as such, he accidentally lands Ali in jail at Lahore Fort, a torment focus. While there, we can see Ali turns tunes into the screams of his tormented individual detainees and talks via an opening in the wall with a man who has been in solitary restrictions there for 9 years. Ali eventually learns that his own father is the one in charge of transforming Lahore fort into a torment force. Meanwhile, Major Kiani appears on the scene expecting to torment Ali. All of a sudden, a change in the ISI command takes place and Ali is liberated just under the wire to avoid torment. So, upon his arrival back at the Pakistani Air Force Academy, he learns that he has been picked as part of the squad that will play out a quiet bold salute for General Zia. Ali will finally have his chance and he chooses to stake his recruiter plot on the utilization of snake venom infused into the general's hand via Ali's sword. So after the quiet salute, General Zia boards the Pak 1 along. General Zia on August 1798 boards the C-130 plane named the Pak 1 along. General Zia is along with several of his senior army officials to Pakistan Arnold Rafael and a few crates of mangoes, and after they take off, the plane starts to fly erratically and eventually crashes into the ground. Everybody on board is executed in the following blast. Nonetheless, the novel wraps up without affirming, regardless of whether Ali was fruitful in his attempt to assassinate General. The story finishes up with a passage from Quran which also beforehand appeared in chapter 2. So the major themes which is being discussed in the novel The Case of Exploding Mangoes are power and corruption, oppression and censorship, conspiracy and betrayal, and identity and belongings. So now we will look into the detail. So power and corruption is that the novel portrays the general and his government as corrupt and oppressive. And Hanif exposes the inner working of the government and military, showing how various factions and interest groups compete for power and influence, often at the expense of the common people. He also highlights the widespread corruption that exists within the government and military, with officials accepting bribes and engaging in other forms of illicit activity to enrich themselves. So, in the field or in the department of military or the department of government, we can see corruption and the power which is being the authority of everything. So, the officials are accepting bribes and they are engaging in the forms of illegal activities to enrich themselves. So that is the one major theme that is being discussed in this novel. In this novel, the author Muhammad Hanif highlights the ruthlessness of the regime and its efforts to suppress dissent and maintain control over the population. That is a kind of an oppression which is being prevailed there. Through the character of General Zia, Hanif shows how the regime silences anyone who opposed it, often using violent and brutal means. General Zia has used several violent and brutal means to the regime who silences if anyone is opposing it. The novel depicts the widespread use of torture, disappearances to silence dissent and maintain the regime's grip on power. Hanif also highlights the censorship that characterized this period, with the government controlling the media and censoring any information that was critical of the regime. Then we can see the theme of conspiracy and betrayal. It depicts a world where loyalty and trust are constantly being tested and where the pursuit of power can easily lead to the betrayal. Throughout the novel, Hanif shows how individuals are willing to betray their friends and allies in order to gain power or to protect themselves. He also shows how conspiracy and intrigue are woven into the fabric of the military and government, with individuals and factions for power and influence. The other theme which is being prevalent is that of identity and belonging. Ali Shigri is a complex character who is torn between his loyalty to the military and his desire to uncover the truth about his father's death. His father was a senior officer in the military who died in a mysterious plane crash, and Ali is determined to find what has happened really. This quest for the truth puts him at the odds with his superiors in the military, and he is forced to question his own identity and loyalties. In addition to his struggles within the military, Ali is also haunted by the memory of his mother, who abandoned him as a child. This has left him with a deep sense of loss and a feeling of not belonging anywhere. So now we will move to the novel considered as a political satire. A Case of Exploding Mangoes is often regarded as a political satire that lampoons the excesses and follies of the military dictatorship in Pakistan during the 1980s. It uses humor and irony to expose the absurdity and corruption of the military regime and to highlight the ways in which the pursuit of power can lead to madness and chaos. One of the key features of the novel's satire is its use of caricature and exaggeration to create larger than life characters that embody the excesses of the military regime. General Sia, for example, is portrayed as a paranoid and delusional figure obsessed with conspiracy theories and prone to fits of rage and paranoia. Similarly, General Akhtar is a ruthless and cunning strategist who will stop at nothing to achieve his goals, even if it means betraying his closest allies. At the same time, the novel also uses satire to critique the broader social and cultural context of Pakistan during this particular period. Now we can see the novel as a dark comedy due to its use of satire and humor to portray the absurdity and the brutality of the military regime in Pakistan during the 1980s. The novel is full of dark humor scenes, such as when Ali Shigri and his fellow cadets are forced to endure the sadistic punishment of their superiors, or when General Sia holds a mango eating competition amidst the chaos of the military coup. So this is all certain kind of dark comedy which is being included in this novel by Hanif. Then we can see this novel as a postmodern novel due to its use of non-linear narrative structure, fragmented storytelling, and the self-reflectivity. It jumps back and forth between the different points in time and different perspectives, often leaving the reader unsure of what is real and what is imagined. So it is a kind of a complicated and ambiguous novel where reader itself is doubtful many times. In addition, the novel's fragmented storytelling style further contributes to its postmodern nature. The story is told through a series of interconnected vignettes and flashbacks, with each chapter providing a different piece of puzzle. The novel also employs a reflexivity or the awareness of the text as a construct through its use of footnotes, metafictional elements, and intertextuality. So now we will move on to the last part, which is the characters, which is portrayed in the novel, A Case of Exploding Mangoes. So the first character is that of Ali Shigri, who is the protagonist of the novel. He is a young officer at the Pakistani military who becomes obsessed with finding out the truth behind his father's death. He is torn between his loyalty to the military and his desire for justice, and his struggles with issues of identity and belongings are a central theme of this novel. Then the other character is that of General Zia-ul-Haq, who is a military dictator of Pakistan during the 1980s. He is portrayed as a ruthless and manipulate leader who will stop at nothing to maintain his grip on power. He is deeply paranoid and suspicious of those around him, and his actions ultimately lead to his own downfall. Then we have the other two characters, General Akhtar and Mayor Kiani. General Akhtar is a powerful figure in the military and a close confidant of General Zia. He is also very cunning and a calculating strategist who plays a key role in the political machinations that takes place throughout the novel. Mayor Kiani is a fellow officer and a friend of Al-Shigri. He is a cynical and a disillusionist figure who has lost faith in the ideals of military. He is a sharp critic of the corruption and oppression he sees around him, and his interactions with Ali provide a window into the disillusionment and discontent of many within the military. So these are the characters: Ali Shigri, General Zia-ul-Haq, General Akhtar and Mayor Kiani, where Mayor Kiani and Ali Shigri are kind-hearted people, whereas General Zia-ul-Haq and General Akhtar are very cunning. So this is all about the novel, the comic novel, A Case of Exploding Mangoes, which dealt with the theme of corruption, of power, oppression, censorship, conspiracy, betrayal, identity and belonging. So hope you have got an idea of this novel, the characters which is being portrayed by Hanif in this novel, and the themes which is being described throughout the course of this novel. And now we will meet with yet another story, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And if you have any doubts or if you want any notes regarding this session, please send an email which is given in the description box below. See you all.